What is up, Tube users, and welcome to the first episode in a series I'll be doing titled Overwatch 2 Heroes, an in-depth guide. I wanted to do this series because I'm a newcomer to Overwatch 2 and I aim to improve my skills playing each hero. Although there are plenty of tips and tricks videos online, none of them really delve into the key stats such as damage, range, and cooldown usage. So have no fear because that's what I'm here to do. Let's get right into it by focusing on our first hero, D.Va. D.Va is a mech-based tank, which means she receives the passive tank ability of reducing knockback received. She has 350 normal health with an additional 300 armor. Her primary fire, fusion cannons, are a shotgun-like hit-scan weapon, dealing 2 to 6 damage per pellet depending on her range. Her damage falloff starts at 10 meters and drops to a minimum damage at 20 meters. While using fusion cannons, D.Va receives a 40% movement decrease, unless she's using her boosters while firing. Speaking of, D.Va's first ability is Boosters, which allows her to move at 12 meters per second for up to 2 seconds in any direction. The cooldown for her boosters is 4 seconds. Using boosters to charge towards an enemy will cause a slight bit of knockback and deal 15 damage to them. Another thing to note is D.Va can use fusion cannons, micro missiles, defense matrix, and melee simultaneously while using boosters. Another powerful ability D.Va has at her disposal is micro missiles. These are an area effect projectile that fires 18 missiles that deal 7 damage on direct hit. These missiles can also deal 1 to 4 splash damage with a radius of 1.5 meters, but be careful not to use them too close to yourself as they may result in self-inflicted damage. Unlike her other abilities, micro missiles cannot be manually cancelled. They can, however, be interrupted by enemy crowd control abilities like Sombra Hack, Honest Sleep Dart, or Roadhog's Chain Hook, just to name a few. It's also worth noting that micro missiles can be used with D.Va's defense matrix. Arguably D.Va's most powerful ability, Defense Matrix, creates a cylinder-shaped barrier in front of D.Va, blocking most projectiles and absorbing an unlimited amount of damage for up to 3 seconds. However, it can't block beam or AoE damage and has a 2-second charge time for each second used, with an extra second of charge time if used at its full potential. This means it takes up to 7 seconds for Defense Matrix to completely recharge if used fully. The Defense Matrix's recharge status is displayed as a fuel bar on the right side of the reticle, allowing players to monitor its time remaining and charge time. While Defense Matrix is a good ability to keep D.Va and her allies safe and sound, she can just as easily flip the table and go into full chaos with her ultimate ability, Self-Destruct. D.Va's ultimate ability, Self-Destruct, is a powerful explosion that overloads and destroys her mech after a 3-second delay, dealing 1 to 1,000 damage to enemies within a 20-meter radius. For most 200 HP heroes, this means they will be killed if they are within 18 meters of the explosion. One of the interesting strategies with Self-Destruct is to use D.Va's boosters just before triggering the explosion, which will maintain the momentum of boosters and allow D.Va to catch enemies off guard. After the ultimate ability is used, D.Va will eject from her mech and enter pilot form. D.Va is a unique tank hero who, like an unlucky cat, has a second life when her mech reaches 1 HP. Instead of perishing in the explosion, she ejects from her doomed mech and enters her vulnerable pilot form, also known as Baby D.Va among the community. During the ejection, she's invulnerable for 1.5 seconds, which can be a lifesaver in critical situations. In pilot form, Baby D.Va wields a light gun projectile weapon that deals 14 damage per shot and there's no fall-off damage. However, with only 150 HP, she must be careful not to take too much damage. In this form, her ultimate ability is Call Mech, which summons a new mech and deals 250 damage to enemies within 2.5 meters of the landing zone. D.Va is a great starter tank for anyone getting into Overwatch 2. The infinite ammo on her fusion cannons, combined with great movement from her boosters and a second life after her mech is destroyed, makes her an easy character to learn when starting out. However, mastering D.Va requires more than just basic knowledge of her abilities. Knowing when to engage and disengage, how to position yourself in your defense matrix, and properly utilizing her ultimate can be the difference between a decent D.Va player and a great one. There are certain heroes on the enemy team that may struggle to deal with D.Va's unique hit, such as those with slower movement or limited vertical mobility. D.Va is a good choice when facing heroes such as Widowmaker, Bastion, or Zenyatta, who have slower movement speeds, as D.Va's combination of boosters and defense matrix allows her to quickly close the gap and engage in close range combat. These heroes are more susceptible to D.Va's high damage output and her ability to quickly reposition around the battlefield. It's important to note, however, that while D.Va is a strong counter against these heroes, that Overwatch is not a game of rock, paper, scissors. Skill and strategy play a crucial role in determining the outcome of a match, and while D.Va may give you an advantage against certain heroes, a skilled opponent can find a way to easily outplay her. To even the odds against a skilled D.Va player, it's important to know which heroes can effectively counter her playstyle. There are several heroes in Overwatch 2 that can effectively counter D.Va due to their beam damage abilities, which D.Va's defense matrix cannot defend against. Zarya can be a difficult tank hero to deal with because her particle barrier has the ability to block D.Va's burst damage and charges Zarya's particle cannon. Her primary fire damage and sentry turrets both deal beam damage that cannot be mitigated by defense matrix. Additionally, Brigitte can be a solid choice to counter D.Va. Her abilities such as Flail and Shield Bash can disrupt D.Va's mobility and prevent her from diving into backlines. Additionally, Brigitte's Inspire passive provides an area healing that can mitigate D.Va's burst damage. By knowing which heroes can struggle against D.Va and which heroes can counter her, you can better understand how to play D.Va and adjust your gameplay accordingly. With that in mind, let's dive into some tips and tricks for playing D.Va effectively. D.Va's defense matrix is incredibly powerful at absorbing some or all of a good majority of the hero roster's ultimate abilities. Here is a tier list of the ultimates D.Va can and cannot absorb with defense matrix. With a long, cylinder-shaped barrier, defense matrix is incredibly powerful at protecting allies as well, especially Mercy when rezzing. Another quick tip when playing against Moira is defense matrix can absorb both Moira's damaging and healing orb. Although it seems like a projectile-based ultimate, D.Va's defense matrix cannot stop Ana's nano boost. Though you gain a new ultimate and call mech while D.Va is in pilot form, the ult charge for self-destruct remains as it was prior to ejecting from her mech. When using D.Va's ultimate self-destruct ability, be on the lookout for where enemies are hiding. Typically, enemies will line of sight the self-destruct blast, so you can take advantage of that by remeching next to where they're hiding. When D.Va's mech is self-destructing, it can be moved by using boosters before self-destructing, by pushing it slightly with your body, or by having an enemy roadhog chain hook it. Another thing to keep in mind before using self-destruct is enemy shields count as line of sight, so it's a good idea to wear down any enemy shields they may have before self-destructing. Since Baby D.Va's light gun doesn't have any fall-off range for damage, it's typically a good idea to play further back to gain ult charge for another mech and to not get killed. But other than that, if you have any more tips and tricks for D.Va, make sure to leave them in the comment section below, like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to see more content. Anyways, that's it for me. I'll let the finish to this game play out. Until the next one, peace.
that rhythm.